This is Humility and Unapologetic Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Humility and Unapologetic Podcast. Today, we will be discussing real estate. We will be bringing it home with Nina Foster.
Hi.
Glad to have you on, Nina.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes. And it's always a pleasure with my co-host.
How you doing today? Oh, before we get started, happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Happy Father's Day.
All right, Nina. So we're going to ask you a series of questions.
Okay.
As usual, we're trying to educate those who have no clue of what's happening in the world.
Okay.
And today's topic is real estate.
All right.
Nina is a real estate agent, huh?
She's gonna educate the people by buying houses.
Yes,
Okay.
he's going to educate everyone on buying houses. And Nina's a real estate agent.
Yeah.
So my first question for you today is, how much credit should you have established before attempting to purchase a home?
Okay, well, that's kind of tricky, but I would recommend to at least have a 620. I know that a lot of times you can go as low as a 600, but I would say a 620 is a really good number to stay around. The reason being is with the 620, you know that pretty much you can get approved for any one of the, three loans. You have a FHA loan, which you can get approved for at a 620. With the FHA loan at a 620, not only can you get approved for that, but you can get approved with grants that go along with the FHA loans. Are you familiar with any of the grants?
I have not a clue.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have what's called an MSR7, and that's specifically for Mississippi, the Mississippi Home Corporation. And what that does basically is it provides down payment assistance up to $7,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that helps out a lot.
Yeah.
And then also you have conventional loans, and your conventional loans that also that provides with the 620 or so, sometimes up to about 650, you would have your means, to get your approval as well. Right. So like I said, I would just recommend to start at about 620. Some ways if you go lower, a lot of times you run into the higher interest rates.
Yeah.
And that'll be tricky, especially right now with your interest rates being so low.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was another thing I was going to ask you too. With COVID-19 going on, the interest rate for the homes is way low right now. Yeah. So right now would be the time to buy.
Yeah, and they don't plan on them going up anytime soon.
So on average, before the virus hit, how much was like the interest rate? Well,
the interest rates were probably right about 3.5%, maybe 4%.
Yeah. And
right now they're right about anywhere between 2.8 to 3%. So they're kind of rocking and rolling right there. A lot of people, I know some of the banks are refining at 2.8, so it's pretty low.
Yeah, and that goes a long way. Like
let's
say you're purchasing a home for $100,000, $200,000.
Yeah.
We're talking about like additional $2 grand, $3 grand, $4 grand, $5 grand, $10 grand. So that's right now is the time to buy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you got a 620 credit score.
Yeah, if you got a 620 credit score, so the best credit score to have is 620 or better.
Yeah, but again, like I said, you can go lower. You can get approved for an FHA loan at a 600. Conventional loans, if you go with the conventional loan, the thing with the conventional loan is your conventional loans, you would need, if you don't have a conventional loan, you would go about 3%. You would need 3% down. Your 3% down, well, we're kind of going a little, I think that's another question. Let's just wait on that.
But I was just about to ask you, so around about how much should you have when considering to buy a home? How much for a down payment?
Okay, yeah, so with your down payments, you have your different loans. Now, with your USDA loans, of course, you don't have to bring anything to the table.
Okay.
Those are your loans that are in your rural area where you have zero down payments. Okay. Now, then you have a conventional loans. Okay. Now, if you're a first-time homeowner or a first-time home buyer and you have a conventional loan, you do not have to bring anything but 3% down. Okay. Now, if you're not a first-time homeowner and you're going conventional, you have to bring 5% down. Okay. Now, if you are going conventional and you're trying to eliminate PMI, and PMI is private mortgage insurance, they make you bring 20% down.
Oh,
Okay.
that was it. I see
So,
that. I see
yeah.
on realtors all the time. They're like, you gotta bring 20%. Like 20% is kind of steep.
Yeah, 20%. But see, what they do is it's the banks require you to pay what's called a PMI. A PMI is private mortgage insurance, and a lot of times over a course of 30 years, that PMI adds up. Some people say, well, you know what? I just want to eliminate that. I can pay 20% up front, and that's going to eliminate that extra money each month, you know, over a period of 30 years. And if you got it like that, it's a good thing.
Right.
Now, going FHA, you just need 3.5% down.
Okay.
So it all depends on how you go.
Yeah, and which direction that you take.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then if you go VA, you know, VA, of course, you don't pay anything down as well.
Yeah, because see, I bank with Century First, which used to be Southern Miss Credit Union. And when I went and talked and saw that they kind of offer loans for buying a home, and the guy over there, he told me, he said, well, all you have to have is 10% down of whatever the mortgage is.
Okay, so if he told you that all you needed was 10% down, more than likely, a lot of times the banks have special in-house loans.
Yeah.
So he was probably offering you one of their in-house loans.
Okay.
I know Bancorp South has in-house loans. I can't really think of the specific name of it, but I know that also Trustmark has an in-house loan.
Okay.
It's called a Home Advantage loan,
right.
where they don't require a down payment either, and you can get up to $224,000 with no down payment. So that's also an option too.
Yeah, and living in Mississippi, a home for $224,000, that's a pretty nice home.
Yeah,
that's pretty nice. And when he told me about the 10% down, I said, okay. So those who are looking to purchase a home, you got different avenues, different angles that you can take.
Yeah.
If you want to save up the money and you find a home for $100,000, and that's what, $10,000 down.
Yeah.
And then there you have it, because it's some nice homes too. You know, some fixer uppers that you can purchase for like $100,000, or even like $30,000. Now, I know I'm jumping the gun, but what, like foreclosures and stuff? Is it better to take that angle?
Well, it all depends. There are pros and cons with foreclosures, of course. One of the pros to a foreclosure is just saving money.
Yeah.
Because if you get a foreclosure, you're going to get it for cheaper.
Right.
That's definitely a pro.
Yeah.
One of the cons, or, you know, to me, the only con, well, I'm not going to say the only, but one of the cons with it is you're going to have to do repairs. You'll have to do repairs to it. Some people lose their house and they say, if I'm going to lose it, when you move in, you're going to have to do some work. And they will go in and they will trash it, you know, just because.
You've seen that before?
I've seen it before. They will go in and they will trash the whole house, and however you get it, you get it.
Wow.
Now, one of the other things is with foreclosures, a lot of times they're bank owned. And because they're bank owned, the banks will not allow you to go in, especially if they're Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. They will not allow you to go in and do any of the repairs.
Oh, wow.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So you can't do any of the repairs prior to purchasing it.
So you have it's like buying a car, you have to purchase as is.
Yeah, you purchase it as is. You don't know what you're getting until you get into it.
Wow.
So that's definitely a con. Whereas if you were to purchase a house off of the market regular, you get a home inspection and you can say, this house is contingent, this contract is contingent upon a home inspection that's acceptable to me. Now, what's acceptable to me may not be acceptable to you. And if it's not acceptable to you, you walk away, you don't lose any money.
Right.
But with the foreclosure, you purchase it as is, and you don't know what's in the plumbing, you don't know what's in the back of the walls, you just don't know. So it's just, you know, the price might be right, but you don't know what you get, you don't know what's in the foundation. It's a gamble.
Yeah, man, that's interesting, because I really didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, I see foreclosure homes all the time. Like, it was one out, I forgot the name of the street that it was on, but it was a beautiful home in a beautiful neighborhood. And my wife and I, we rode out there and we just kind of just walked around, but you couldn't really see inside and like go inside. But just from the photos, and they didn't offer a lot of photos on the website neither. And I was like, man, that's a nice home. But not knowing that the inside probably was trash, The
But
pipes
you know
probably
what?
are busted
A
or
lot of
something.
times when you see those homes that are beautiful like that and they're in beautiful neighborhoods like that, a lot of times they're not like that.
No.
Every now and then you'll see them, depending on the neighborhoods. Sometimes you'll see them, sometimes you won't. It's just a gamble.
Yeah.
Everything good ain't gold.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes back to the old saying. So what are some of the things when purchasing a home should you check for, like, you know?
Well, one of the things that I would look into before getting a foreclosure, especially when you're thinking about the banks that you're going to, check around and see if the bank that you're thinking about purchasing it from offers what's called a 203K loan. That loan, all banks don't offer it, but that loan is a specific loan that covers repairs. Okay, so you can get a repair loan that will give you money to pay for the repairs at purchase.
Man.
So you can purchase a house, get a 203K loan up front, and then also purchase the house and then get that loan as well to have money to pay for the repairs. Not all banks offer that. So that's something that's real big. So a lot of the banks don't do it, but if you can find a bank that offers a 203K loan, you know. So that's a question. That's a big question.
So what bank do you usually use?
You know, I bank with Community Bank, and I also use Trustmark a lot. Magnolia. I like to use local banks.
Local banks, okay.
You know, Bancorp South is a good bank. I just kind of steer away from the major banks.
Okay.
I support local.
All right. And most of the banks that you deal with offer the 203K?
Well, one in particular that I just mentioned doesn't. I know not Bancorp South. I know Trustmark does not. They do not offer the 203K. I'll have to check with the other ones, but I know that particular bank does not.
All right.
So.
And that was something, and that's very important because I always thought, you know, I'm pretty much real estate literate, to a certain extent, but I always thought, like, if you get pre-approved or approved for a certain amount, and you go to purchase a home, just say I get pre-approved for 150, but I'm able to talk them down. I'm offering them 100,000, and they take that. Then the other 50 that I have left over, I can use that for repairs.
No.
See, I always thought it was like
You gotta do that for the house, right?
No, whatever you offer is what the loan is for, and that's all you get.
And that's it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, like I said, if you're dealing with a bank, or if you went to one bank and got your loan for your home and you decided to go to another bank that offered a 203K, you could do that as well.
Okay. And one of the things and can you kind of fill us in with the difference between a fixed mortgage and one that kind of toggles or whatever?
Yeah. So you have a fixed mortgage, and then
is that the one that you want to look for?
Well, yeah. And the reason why you want to look for a fixed interest rate is because when you have a fixed interest rate, your mortgage payment is not going to go up and down.
Okay.
It's pretty much going to be standard.
Gotcha.
Now, what's going to change from year to year is going to be your taxes will change a little bit, and then your insurance. Whenever you get a mortgage, your principal of your loan, if your principal amount of your loan is $700, it's going to be $700 for the whole 15-year or the whole 30-year. Okay,
That's
and
important.
then so it's going to be $700 throughout. Now, I might have $1,000 for insurance, or $1,200 for insurance. They divide that $1,200 by 12 because it's 12 months in a year.
Right.
So that means they're going to add an extra $100 each month to my mortgage.
Okay.
So now I'm up to $800 for a payment.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I have another $1,200 for property taxes. They divide that by 12. Now I'm up to another $100. So now my mortgage is $900 instead of $700 because I have my principal for my mortgage, I have my property taxes and my insurance. So that's how I come up with a mortgage payment of $900. Okay. So now next year the city annexed something, and now the county that I'm in is a part of the city, and Bellevue is now.
Yeah, they've been trying to get annexed, huh?
Yeah, so
Are they annexed now?
no, it's not.
Okay.
But now we're the city of Bellevue and not the county. So now instead of $1,200 in taxes, we're $2,400 in taxes.
So it doubled.
So now it doubled. So instead of just having $100, I have $200. So now my taxes went from being the extra 100 to 200. So now my taxes went from, now my mortgage payment went from being the $900 to $1,000.
I got you. Yeah.
So that's what's going to change on a fix.
Okay.
On a fix, the only thing that's going to vary is your insurance and your property taxes.
Okay.
That's something that you can't, and then most of the time, if it changes, it's going to change by a couple of dollars.
Okay.
Okay. If you have an interest rate that's not fixed, 1 year your principal could be $700. The next year it could be $400. The next year it could be $1,300. It'll just go up and down, up and down. So you could be, 1 year paying a mortgage that's $500 and you love it, and then the next year you're paying a $1,500 mortgage. It just goes up and down, and that's how a lot of people lost their houses.
Right. So a lot of people that you deal with, you kind of preach for them to stay clear.
Well, most banks are only doing fixed mortgages.
Okay,
now.
all right. That's good. That's good because, the other one, it gets you in a world of trouble.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose your home.
Correct.
And what are some of the benefits of owning a home compared to renting?
Well, this is the thing. Regardless if you're renting or if you're owning, you're paying a mortgage.
Okay.
I tell everybody, you look at it like that. You're going to pay a mortgage whether you're renting a house or if you're paying a house. It's just a matter of, like, if you're renting, you're paying your landlord's mortgage. And if you're buying, you're paying your mortgage. So I tell them, which mortgage do you want to pay? You want to pay the landlord's mortgage or yours? So you just look at it like that. One of the benefits definitely is tax deductions. When you do your taxes, you get huge deductions when you're homeowners. And then also the equity. Once you either build equity in your house, or if you purchase a home that is worth a lot more than you bought it for, your house automatically have equity in it. And a lot of people go and they borrow against the house, and they get what's called HELOC loans, home equity lines of credit. So because you have that money in there, say for instance, if I purchased my house for $150 and my house was actually, it appraised for $210, okay? Well, I have $60,000 in equity in my house, and I go and I decide that I want to open a home line, equity line of credit, and they give me the $60,000 in credit. Okay, so when I decide that I want to go and change out my floors or whatever, they give you like a checkbook, and I'll just write out the checkbook for what I want, and I'm writing it against the equity in my house. So it's just like I'm borrowing against the equity in my house because they know that my house is worth it.
Right. So it's beneficial to be a home.
It is, because you already have the money.
Yeah. So what about rent to own?
I don't really know much about rent to own.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna sit here and act like I do. I just know that if I had a home and I owned it and I was gonna rent it to you to own it,
I would charge more.
I would charge a lot more, to the point where you're paying not only my mortgage, but you're gonna pay me a little extra because if something happened, you're still gonna fix it, and it's gonna give me a reason to, I don't know.
Yeah,
I really wouldn't see a benefit in it.
Okay, so it's probably better off just to hold off, take care of whatever credit that you have to take care of, or whatever down payment that you need to come up with to purchase your own.
I feel like if you have enough to pay to rent to own, I would personally just say I would continue to rent, like rent where you're at right now, and then save that extra till when you get ready to purchase.
Okay. All right. And some of the areas that you prefer, or is it just kind of based on what you're looking for?
It depends on what you're looking for. If you have children and you're looking for school districts in this area, good areas for school district. Petal, they have a good school district. A+ school district. Oak Grove has a good school district. If you don't have children and you're looking for good, like the downtown area, if you're looking for up and coming neighborhoods, I would recommend Hattiesburg because you have downtown, you have Midtown. Everything in Hattiesburg is growing. So I would recommend Hattiesburg for that. If you are kind of quiet and you want the rural kind of country, feel, I would recommend Eatonville, Glendale, because it's kind of, even though they're trying to grow it up a little bit, it still kind of gives you that country feel.
Right.
So I wouldn't, all areas are good. It just depends on what you like.
Okay. Yeah. And then the taxes, they differ between city and county.
Yeah.
Taxes.
Yeah. Anything in Hattiesburg, anything in the city limits are going to be higher. Anything in the county is going to be cheaper.
Okay. All right. Do you deal with people building houses? Like, do you you sell land too as well, right?
We sell land.
Yeah. So I know that rural areas have more land and stuff, because they're rural. But some in the city, it's like it's different type of, what is it, like codes or building codes that you have to.
In your cities, you're gonna find a lot of building codes and the covenants and different things that you have to go by. In Forest County, there's not as many in Lamar County that you have to go by, and then also in your Forest County, you'll see, they have more, you'll see more lots. And then of course in the county, you see more acres, so it's just depending on what you want.
Okay.
And then you see a lot of more, commercial land, in the city. And then in the county, you see more residential.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I see you helping a lot of people around here.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. And that's what kind of, drew me towards you, because I said, okay, I see Nina doing her thing,
I appreciate it.
And she's helping out a lot of people that I'm familiar with. Yeah. And I said, it's nice to see a familiar face doing so many great things for the community, because you're actually doing a lot for the community, because some people, just be honest, feel hopeless, or they don't even know where to start. Yeah. And what you do, you provide that starting ground for them. You're not judgmental.
No judgment zone.
Yeah, no judgmental, and and you're actually helping them get to a place where they need to be, not only where they want to be, but where they need to be. Because like you said earlier, and we discussed, it's benefits in owning a home. If you ever get in a tight or anything, you have that equity that you can fall back on. Or if you have to sell. And I was gonna bring this up too, because I talk to a lot of people. Most of them are my white friends, and they're young. They're working on their second home in their 20s. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And they say, well, this is my second home, and I had it built. By the time I'm on my third or fourth home, this home will pay for that home. Correct. So, but us as people of color, sometimes we're just kind of behind on the 8 ball. Gotcha. But. Like I said, I appreciate what you're doing for the community.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing too. It's just I feel like I'm giving back. Yeah. And it's just like, I know that I had help. It's just like I had a mentor that helped me out. And it's kind of crazy. I wouldn't necessarily call him a mentor because he wasn't much of a mentor at all. Lord, I can't say his name, but what I was going to say, this particular guy, he taught me how to work hard, and he was kind of crooked, but I'm sorry, he was kind of crooked, but he was the hardest working person, and he taught me about business, and he taught me about drive, and I remember right when I got out of school. I remember having PJ, that's my son, he was about 8 months old, and I would have him in a carrier, And at that time, I was doing home health, and he would be in a carrier going with me working. You know, I had him working, and he'll come on, grind. You got to grind, girl. You got to grind.
Got to teach him early.
And, you know, and he taught me, you know, it didn't matter. You can't make any excuses. You know, you had them. Come on, let's work. You know. So, I mean, he instilled that in me. He instilled that in me. And he kept me going. He kept me motivated. And, you know, and he asked me, how long are you going to rent? And I was just like, okay, well, how long you gonna rent? You keep asking me what I got for rent. How long, when you gonna buy? Yeah. And, you know, and that's what he asked me. And, you know, I was just like, well, I'm not ready. He was like, why aren't you ready? So, you know, he pushed me, and at 23, I purchased my first home because of him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he pushed me, and he pushed me, and he pushed me. So, like, I've been able to help people along the way before I even started this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. So, it's just like giving back. It's giving back. It's helping people. It's showing them. And it's not hard. It's not hard. People think that you got to have a lot of money. You don't have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of money. All the banks want to know is that you're going to go to work and that you're going to pay them. Right. That's it. Because if you got a job and you make money, you can get a house. It might not be a huge house on the hill or whatever, you know, but you can have a house, you know, a roof over your head and something that you can call your own. Right. And one day,
that's important.
One day you can sell it and get something else that's even better. Yeah,
because people get discouraged a lot. Yeah. You know, they keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah. You know, they'll see someone purchase a nice home or whatever, and they're like, oh, I want to. But you know, sometimes you have to start from the bottom. You may not can get that 2,500 square feet or 3,000 or 5,000 square foot home. Sometimes you have to start out with 1,400, 1,200. Like you said, have something to call yours. Yeah. On down the road, 5, 10 years, however long it takes, sell that, and then you can get that other one. You know? And I'm glad that you brought that up, because I was going to kind of ask you, like, what led you to be a real estate agent?
Well, honestly, that didn't lead me to being in real
estate.
It didn't?
No. Oh, okay.
I was in the medical field since 2004.
That's right.
And let's see, I remember it. July the 9th of 2018, my job at Regency Hospital gave out. And so, I mean, the doors closed. They didn't give us a heads up or anything. We didn't get severance pay or anything. So I just didn't want to be in a situation again, you know. So, you know, my husband and I, we have another small business, and, you know, that really wasn't what I wanted to do full time. Yeah. And, you know, I just played around with it, and I decided to try this, and I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. You have to be passionate about what you do. But and it's, like you say, you helping the community, and that's where it starts, on the community level.
Exactly.
You know, whether you know it or not, but I know that you're a woman of faith,
I am.
You know, in deep faith. But young girl of color or whatever may be watching this and say, okay, I want to be like Nina, because you know, everybody, like our young males, everybody can be a basketball player, everybody can be a rapper. So you're giving them an avenue that they can take, okay, a different avenue. Okay, I'll be a real estate agent. Everybody can be a singer. Yeah. All little girls can grow up to be a singer. Can you sing?
No.
Okay. So, you know.
I can cook.
You can cook? Oh, that's good. That's good.
Chef.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's good, and I applaud you for that. Yeah, you know. And do you see many women that
of color in real estate?
Yeah, they look like you.
No, it's not enough of us. But you know, like I said, it's a great profession. It's a professional profession. You know, it's
competitive.
It's competitive. Yeah. It's definitely competitive. But the thing about real estate, you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know the market. Yeah. You know, you really got to know what's going around. You know, you just gotta get out there, learn the market, learn everything about all of the properties, so that when someone calls you, you know your stuff. Because if you don't know your stuff, they're gonna go to the next person.
Yeah.
You do business like that.
Yep.
And what I've been seeing, that you're very reliable.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You've been putting a lot of people in some homes.
I appreciate it.
And my nephew, he's purchasing a home soon. We're looking to purchase one.
I learned a lot. I need to do some work done before I get a house.
Well, it won't be long.
Yeah. Well, you know who to come to.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Next 6 months.
I got you. 6 months.
That's
Got me.
right.
Producer got it 6 months.
Well, if you would, how can people like get in contact with you?
Okay, if anybody that's looking to buy, sell, if you need any additional information, if you want me to just go over just basic things with you, any questions, anything, you can just give me a call, 601-325-5943. My name is Nina Foster. Thank you.
Well, anything else to you?
Nah, I learned a lot today.
Yeah, you seem puzzled. But,
Hey man, I'm only 24. It's good that I'm learning stuff now.
Right,
Instead of I'm 30.
yeah, because Nina said she purchased her first home when she was 23.
Yeah, they make me feel bad.
Oh.
No, you still got a lot of time.
I'm just messing.
You're young, very young. Well, Nina, we appreciate you being on.
Thank you so much for teaching me.
Yeah,
Thank you for
man.
having me.
And those who are watching, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Reach out to Nina if you have any questions.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, most definitely. And if you're looking to buy a home, reach out to Nina. You have somebody on your side, man. Right now, we're trying to build each other up. Right now is the time. It's 2020. Time to move forward. Get rid of all the old ways, all the old days. And, get out. Let's purchase us a home.
That's right.
Thank you.
Before we end, we got our next guest. We're going to talk about spiritual growth with Melvin King. Make sure you guys tune in next week to find out about spiritual growth.
It's going to be a good one. Till next time.
Deuces.